foul.
Talked to Wells coach Dan McLeod before the game and said, what do you do to try to stop a team like York? Quite simply, he said they're going to try to pack in the zone a little bit and make them beat them from the outside.
Martell and Chapman running the show for the Wildcats. McDonald over Clark. A little long, and it'll be Wells' ball. 2-0 Wildcats. We're a minute into this one.
Good job boxing out there by Wells. Joanna Brown obviously had the height advantage, but all she could really do is get her arm on the ball.
Expect York to pack it in. It's where a majority of their scoring comes from, down low. Bolduc. Nice defense by Brown. There's a turnover. And Brown gets it to Chapman. Chapman for three. She can hit it. Rebound by Bolduc. And Wells will run. Here's Cunningham. The runner gets her own rebound, is blocked by Joanna Brown. Martell in the middle to Little for two. Boy, back and forth, John. Haven't seen much half-court offense here.
Jen Bolduc has to look to shoot there, Eric. Sorry about that, but she's got to look to shoot when she gets it on the block.
I'm not sure who this pace favors, John. My guess is it would favor Wells.
Wells wants to run. They want some easy baskets off of this, but in that situation, Jen Bolduc had a chance at an easy one, and she didn't look at the basket, and that will be something that a good team like York will pick up on.
One important factor tonight also is depth, as far as both of these teams are concerned. Brown quickly double-teamed, and she traveled.
Good defense there by Wells. The longer Wells can stay in the zone and stay aggressive, obviously they can rest a little bit in the zone at times too, so that favors them. I think this game takes an added dimension or a change if Wells has to come out of the zone and play York straight up. That's a mismatch for them.
Nickerson with the basketball.
Great
Cunningham, and the rebound comes to McDonald. And Martell will hold it up. Stevens got a hand on it.
Good hustle there by Heidi Stevens, trying to frustrate Joanna Brown, who was away from the basket.
2-3 zone for Wells. Good ball movement. Little misses. Rebounded Joanna Brown. Martell off the back of the rim. York controlling the boards here. Andrea Little misses. Joanna Brown the rebound. Count the basket. Controlling the boards, John.
3 offensive rebounds on that series for York, and it obviously pays off when Joanna Brown gets the third one. Nicely uses the glass and uses her size to her advantage for the bucket and the chance at the three-point play.
Joanna Brown, I believe, had 23 points in the York win over Cape Elizabeth. And it was a 23-point, 16-rebound effort as she gives the Wildcats a 7-0 lead.
To be blatantly obvious here, Wells really needs to get a hoop here in this.
Yeah. There's a reach-in on Martell. That's the first foul against York. Yes, they do, and this is a problem in the first meeting, John, where Wells fell behind 20-7 after the first quarter. They ended up losing by 21, 57-36. So the two teams did meet in the first game of the season back on December 3rd in York.
Both teams a little bit different nowadays at this point. York obviously a lot sharper, but Wells playing with more confidence, or they even look from this vantage point, even though they're down 7-0, that they're looking to run the offense. Nice backdoor cut.
And a foul against the Wildcats. Pass just tipped a little bit by Martell, I think. Otherwise, that would have been a clean layup for Heidi Stevens, but Tiffany Chapman committing the foul.
The other difference we're seeing with Wells is that Heidi Stevens has really become a significant part of the offense. She scored, I believe, 20 points against Freiburg and scored 11 against Gorham, so she's become one of their go-to people, which takes a little bit of pressure off of Christy Clark Becky Nickerson and Jana Cunningham.
Heidi Stevens, a big effort against Freiburg last week in a 17-point Wells win. She netted 20 points, and Dan McLeod said she had over 30 in a Christmas tournament game that Wells played. She misses both free throws, and Wells remains scoreless. They trail 7-0. Brown missed the layup, and Wells ball. 4:09 left, first quarter. It's almost typical York. They've played good defense early in games all year.
Wells has done a pretty good job at breaking the press. They just haven't converted.
Nickerson to Cunningham, and that's Wells' first basket.
Great pass there by Becky Nickerson, and Jana had an easy layup.
Cuts the lead to 5. Nice dump to Brown. Gets her own rebound. Will try it again. Lays it in. Difficult to stop a third effort like that. That's a couple times they've done that, John. Cunningham. There's Nickerson cutting.
Wells again does a good job of breaking the press, and now they're looking for the offense. Had Heidi Stevens on a cut there, just didn't see her.
And here comes York. 7-2 Wildcats. Stevens with a steal. To Nickerson. Easy layup.
Great pass there by Heidi Stevens to Becky Nickerson, and Wells looking to do their things in transition. They've done a nice job.
A couple of hoops for Wells here. It's 7-4 York. They dump to Brown again, and Bolduc committing the foul, I believe, before the shot.
Wells has to find a way to keep the ball out of Joanna Brown's hands right now. It's obvious that York is doing a great job at swinging the ball on the perimeter and getting it down to the block. Wells has to find a way, either fronting her or do something to keep the ball out of her hands.
Second foul on Jen Bolduc. She will be replaced by Samantha Williams, who has been Wells' sixth man throughout the season, as York commits the travel, and we will see our first substitution for the Wildcats this evening, and that will be 5'6" senior Lindsay Plaisted. One of Rick Clark's goals in this game, John, was to wear Wells down in the numbers game. So there's a steal. Little. Count the basket. Andrea Little will get a chance at the free throw line. The foul on Christy Clark. And the lead very quickly pushed right back up to 7. And Little a chance to make it 8. And she does. Now the record that Andrea Little holds, she has made more free throws than anyone else in York history for the girls.
She now has 184.
Oh, you knew the exact number, aren't you?
Like I said, I did a story on her this week, so I remember the numbers.
I am impressed. I think she's very close to number 1 in rebounding also. Clark off balance misses.
She should break that record sometime this year, I would think. I think Shelby Marshall is one of the leaders in that category for York.
York leading by 8. Little. Another layup for Andrea Little. She's got 9 here in the first quarter.
Wells is not accomplishing what it wanted to do on defense. They wanted to keep the ball out of the inside, and all but one hoop for York has come inside the paint. They have not had to score on a jumper so far, and that's not what they wanted.
And I think try the backdoor cut. I think Clark's only taken 2 shots, John. Is that correct?
What's that?
Christy Clark has only taken 2 shots. She hasn't seen the ball that much on offense, and she's their scorer. Had 19 against Gorham on Monday night.
It's pretty hard when your best player lives with the opposition's coach to get anything, and I'm sure that's been something that's been going on in the Clark household.
Katie Giantremont, who came into the game, touched the ball there for a moment. The Wildcats swinging around. McDonald wide open, hits it. Molly McDonald's first basket. Giantremont, who came into the game, is a 5'11" sophomore. Loose ball picked up by Plaisted and thrown right to Christy Clark. 16-4. A minute remaining in the first quarter. Oh, nice save by Stevens, and then a foul on Cunningham.
There you see the activity of York on defense. Every passing lane contested, really strong with their arms. They know how to play this game, particularly defensively. They are very strong.
Playstead, yes. And York has hit a couple of jumpers from outside, and they've opened up a 14-point lead. Nickerson, that was blocked. And Andrew Little with the basketball.
Lindsey Playstead is also a good outside shooter for York.
Martell from 17. That's in and out. Little blocked from behind. Here comes Cunningham. 20 seconds left in the quarter. Off the glass, Jana Cunningham.
Basically, all of Wells' baskets have come in transitions.
That stopped an 11-point York run, John. His lead went from 7-4 to 18-4 before that basket by Cunningham. McDonald misses. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Martell to Little. Would have counted, but it does not go. And a good quarter to start the game for the Wildcats. As we take a look at the Starkey Ford scoreboard, after one from Wells High School, it's York 18 and Wells 6.
The main diner on Route 1 in Wells is open daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. A favorite breakfast item at the diner is the popular Eggs Benedict, served with hollandaise sauce and freshly grilled home fries. The main diner also serves an interesting assortment of lunch and dinner items, including an award-winning seafood chowder, mouth-watering clams, and their much-acclaimed lobster pie. In season, the diner also serves their very own garden-fresh vegetables. The main diner, where the friendliness of the staff, the quality of the food, and the family prices are most impressive.
Joanne's Gardens, Route 9 in Wells, is your full-service florist. Joanne's has a large variety of green or blooming houseplants and a dazzling selection of cut flowers. Stop by our new outdoor display area and choose from among the many plants and shrubs that will keep your garden bright and vibrant no matter what the season. For 28 years, the Farley family has provided the personal touch in gift selection or custom flower arrangements for any occasion. Located across from the Maryland Ridge Restaurant on Route 9 in Wells, Joanne's Gardens, where your satisfaction is guaranteed.
Tonight's game of the week is being brought to you by the York House of Pizza, Route 1A, across from the Village Fire Station. They've been serving the town of York for over 14 years. Come try their great pizza and delicious subs. And also by the Dairy Queen Brazier, 447 Elm Street in Biddeford, featuring the full meal deal. A sandwich, fry, drink, and sundae, all at one low price. And also by Indian of Maine truck caps. For the best prices and selection on Indian of Maine truck caps, go to the manufacturer. Visit the factory outlet, Route 1, south of Biddeford. And also by Jonathan's Restaurant. Jonathan's Restaurant is a new spot for your banquets, weddings, and receptions in Ogunquit.
Back at Ronco Gym in Wells, start of the second quarter on TCI of Southern Maine Sports, Channel 12, 18-6. York with the lead, Wells with the basketball. Eric Nelson with John Martins, and the Wildcats come out in different defense and cause a turnover. Give us a little zone look, John, after some man-to-man in the first quarter.
Well, this will be the type of game for York. Obviously, if they continue to build on it, they'll be able to try some things if they choose to. And that definitely confused Wells. They went into an overload set, which is the right set against the zone, but couldn't move the ball.
D'Entremont battling underneath, letting them play. There's a jump ball call, and that will go to Wells. Liza Brown is into the game for the Wildcats, number 14. She is a 5'11" junior. So Rick Clark has used 8 ladies so far, and Dan McLeod has used 6. D'Entremont gets it back out to Chapman.
Watch Wells move the ball. They move it well to each side. They'll go back and forth if there's nothing on the block. They'll swing it back this way now. Very patient.
I think it's really nice about the York team, John, that makes them so good, and one of the reasons they're 12-0 is they can bring a lot of people off the bench who come in and, with the exception of a pass like that, play very well.
York a little sloppy. 7 turnovers so far for them, and that's uncharacteristic this early in the first half.
Right to Cunningham.
Becky Nickerson turned her back on that pass, and it ended up in her player's hands. She's really lucky that Cunningham didn't try to get it back to her, because she was looking at her own basket.
Boy, York really trying to shut off the outside shot. They've gone to the 1-3, so obviously Rick Clark figuring maybe Dan McLeod told his team maybe get the ball to a Christy Clark or a Jana Cunningham outside, and now he's trying to cut off the wings with that 1-3-1.
With York's advantage in height, it really makes no sense for Wells to kick it inside. If they're going to beat him, they have to beat him from the outside or in transition.
We've played almost 2 minutes here in the second quarter, and no scoring here in this quarter. It remains 18-6 York. Cunningham with a good effort. A little to inbound. And Chapman tried to save it. And right to Stevens for the layup. I think Rick Clark would rather she just catch the ball and take the backcourt violation.
She's trying to do something aggressively, but she saved it right to a Wells player who had an uncontested layup.
Heidi Stevens' first basket. Liza Brown missing. It's out of bounds on Stevens. So a 10-point York lead, 18-8. Chapman, she'll launch it. Brown the follow, placed dead. And finally Wells with a defensive rebound, Christy Clark. And a foul on Andrea Little. Just the third team foul against York.
Can't keep giving teams 3 chances on the boards there. And York has had a lot of opportunities, second and third chances, and that's what Wells has to avoid.
Jessica Martell back in for the Wildcats. 5:30 remaining, first half, 18-8 York.
Wells has to find a way to get Christy Clark into the scoring column, get her started.
Nickerson to Williams. Oh, the scoop for 2 from Sam Williams.
I always like that move, and that's a real creative move, and it works most of the time.
And Wells has cut the lead to 8. They've held York scoreless in the second quarter. Loose ball comes out to Brown. Type of play where Wells should have had that rebound. There's a steal by Stevens. Reverse layup doesn't go.
Too bad. They could have really used that one. Good defense.
Martell does not take the shot. Brown, nice move. Liza Brown for the basket. First 2 for the quarter for York, and the lead is back to 10.
Nice head fake there by Liza Brown. Becky Nickerson looking at a trap here. She's got to beat it.
There's Stevens wide open. Knocked out of bounds. 4:08 remaining in the first half. Molly McDonald in for the Wildcats. So Rick Clark back with his starting 5 on the floor.
I think Wells' goal right now just has to get as close as they can by halftime. They're not out of this one yet.
Cunningham lost her balance. Here's Martell to McDonald, and they'll set the offense. York is led by as much as 14 in this game. Currently they lead by 10.
Awfully tough for Samantha Williams to play Joanna Brown one-on-one, and York recognized it there.
Brown now with 7 in the first half. Just her experience alone, John. 3 years of solid varsity experience.
Her experience, her bulk, her confidence, all of those things.
Clark missing the outside jumper. Little, the bounce pass to Martell for the layup.
Timeout. Get a timeout here if you can, Wells.
3:17 remaining in the half as York has gone up by 14, and we'll take a break on Game of the Week with the Wildcats leading the Warriors 24-10.
Babies love being born at York Hospital. All of these babies did. Mothers love it too. At York Hospital, there are no surprises for mother or baby. When you come to the hospital to give birth, there are no strangers taking care of you. No change in shift personnel, people you have never met or seen before. When you have a baby at York Hospital, you're cared for by your nurses, ones who have shared your pregnancy, your delivery, and are there for you after delivery. Your doctor and your nurses, who know you, your concerns, and your desires, will be on hand at this most important time of your life. All of these beautiful babies were born at York Hospital. Why not yours? We invite you to call us and learn more about our unique birthing program, designed to meet the needs and desires of mothers, babies, and the entire family. Why not make York Hospital your hospital? York Hospital, just across the bridge from New Hampshire.
Dan McLeod in his first year at Wells calling the timeout, John, as the Warriors trail it by 14. He's trying to build the program up currently at 5-7. Rick Clark has had a great program, great system embedded in York. And John, over the last 2.5 years, 52-3 for the Wildcats in the last 2.5 seasons.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'd take that anytime.
Back-to-back 17-1 regular seasons. And a chance to certainly equal that mark, if not better it, with an undefeated season this year.
They've got some tough games. Not that this one's over yet, but they do have some tough teams coming up.
Marshwood, Kennebunk, Cape Elizabeth, all left on the schedule.
Kennebunk has been hurt. Their second leading scorer, Danny Luya, may be lost for the season. She's in the hospital right now with mono, so we certainly wish her well.
Clark from outside. Stevens, the offensive rebound, up over Brown, doesn't go. And Stevens with a hustle with Martell. And Martell may have been hurt in the struggle. She might have landed awkwardly on her head as she rolled over, John.
I didn't see the play. I was looking down, and obviously she's in quite a bit of pain right now.
Struggle for the ball, and Martell rolled backwards. A little shaken up. This reminds me of Troy Aikman on Sunday, who said he doesn't really remember anything about the football game after getting that knee in the head.
Troy Aikman, Joe Montana.
Yeah.
A lot of concussions this year in the NFL.
Lindsay Plaisted will replace Jessica Martell, and we certainly hope she'll be okay.
She looks like she knows what country she's in, so that's a benefit. She's holding on to the back of her head.
So as a jump ball, possession goes to Wells. So 2:41 left in the half, 24-10 York. And Brown knocking it away.
York has been pretty tenacious on defense tonight. Wells has not had a lot of good scoring opportunities. With that steal by Little. Wow.
Took it right away from her. Wells going to the man-to-man. They've played it a few trips down. Stevens on Chapman. Clark on Little. Lob it in, McDonald. Fights to get it back. No call. Brown follows it in. 9 for Joanna Brown, and this is York's biggest lead.
Great job by Molly McDonald not to give up on that play and to make the initial cut to get open. She just plugged away. It looked like she was hit, but no call, and she kept going.
An 8-point run by York here over the past few minutes. Stevens, nice pass into Williams for the basket. 4 points for Williams off the bench, breaks the 8-point York run.
She's got a nice little shooting touch, doesn't she?
She impressed us against Gray New Gloucester, John, earlier in the season. The lob to Brown. Offensive rebound, draws the foul.
Tell you, Joanna Brown just leaned on Christy Clark and just pushed her into the paint, got her position, and that's just a mismatch. You look at Christy, she's a very thin young lady, and Joanna has the strength and ability to just manhandle a player like that, and she does it very well.
Liza Brown into the game, and also Sharon Orchard for the first time. She is a 5'9" junior wearing 00. Foul was on Williams, her first. As we see number 30, Jen Hilton, into the game for Wells. Brown with 1 of 2. And it's a 15-point lead, 27-12. Cunningham blocked, swatted away by Brown. And a caller for the foul.
Some good ball movement in that possession by Wells. Looking to do the right things. Jenny Hilton didn't have a shot. She kicked it out to Jana Cunningham, who faced somewhat of a mismatch and shot from about her shoulder, which is not a good thing to do against Joanna Brown, but she got fouled.
14 fouls against York, 6 against Wells. Cunningham gets 1. And it's 27-13 in favor of York with a minute remaining here in the first half. Liza Brown for 2.
Nice give and go there by the Wildcats to get that easy bucket.
Now York with the pressure. York staying back in that zone. Nice move by Cunningham. Jana Cunningham with the basket. She has 7 to lead Wells here in the first half.
She's played a nice half.
Rick Clark with 20 seconds left wants his team to take 1 shot.
These are the things that coaches look at for importance for tournament and things like that. Running the last shot offense and getting a nice sequence here. No matter what the lead is, they like to work on this in game situations.
Orchard. Tough angle bank shot. And Wells ball with 2 seconds remaining in the half. Knocked away by Brown, and that is the end of the first half of play. York led by 12 after 1. They lead by 14 at the half. And John and I will be back with our halftime statistics in just a moment. On the Starkey Ford scoreboard at halftime from Wells High School, it's York 29 and Wells 15.
If you're looking for sales, service, and satisfaction in southern Maine, Starkey Ford, Route 1 in York, has been the place to visit for over 36 years. There's always a good selection of new or used cars and trucks on hand whenever you need safe, dependable transportation. No gimmicks, no tricks, just a great car at a fair price. Sales, service, and satisfaction at Starkey Ford. You can get here from there, just off Route 95 in York, Maine.
Dave's IGA, York Village Shopping Center in York, is hometown proud. Proud to be serving their friends and neighbors the most delicious selection of fresh food items available. And to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar, pick up Dave's IGA Super Savings Circular. The circular is available at the store every Monday morning and can be found in the York Weekly. So stop by Dave's IGA for all the great specials you've come to expect. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Dave's IGA, hometown proud.
Today's halftime is being brought to you by the Maine Diner, Route 1 North in Wells. Look for their new fall specials where every Thursday they feature the New England Boiled Dinner.
Back at Ronco Gym in Wells at halftime, where York is enjoying a 14-point lead, 29-15. John, time to take a look at our halftime stats.
All right, let's take a look at the Wells Warriors first. Field goals attempted 19. Field goals made 7, 37% from the field. Free throws attempted and made, they're 1 for 4 for 25%. Rebounds, a total of 9. Only 1 offensive rebound in that set, 8 defensive, and turnovers 9. For York, 13 for 32 from the floor for a 41% mark. 2 for 4 from the line, 50%. Rebounds, 20, 10 big offensive rebounds for York and 10 defensive. And turnovers for them, uncharacteristically at 9, which is a little high for them.
Okay, and the leading scorers from the first half of play for Wells, Jana Cunningham with 7, Samantha Williams with 4, and for York, Joanna Brown leads all scorers with 10. Andrea Little has 9, and Liza Brown with 4. And foul trouble, nothing really to speak of from the first half of play. Cunningham and Bolduc with 2 each for Wells, and there are 4 players with 1 for York. But we were reminded at halftime by Eric Backey, who does some broadcasting for us, John, the fact that Andrea Little, though we don't keep individual rebounding statistics, is maybe 1 or 2 away from becoming the leading rebounder in school history.
That's pretty exciting. She's definitely earned it, and this year her role, she's been pushed out away from the basket a little bit more, but she's still finding a way to contribute with the rebounds, and that'd be pretty exciting for her to be the all-time leading scorer at York High when she's done, and the all-time leading rebounder, and second in some of the other categories, such as steals, when she graduates.
The list goes on and on, as they say. And for second half of play, really, you know, Wells played good defense the first 3 or 4 minutes of the second quarter. John got this back to an 8-point game. After that, York clamped down the defense, really kept Wells from getting any real good shots off, and just expanded that lead back. You know, for Wells, it's like, hey, let's try to start over and play an even second half.
Yeah, they look for this half for some confidence. One of the things that they have to do that they haven't been able to do in the first half, they have to keep the ball off the block, and they've got to try to limit York's chances. 10 offensive rebounds for York in the first half. That's too many.
Okay, we'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment. As we take a look at the Starkey Ford scoreboard at halftime, York leading Wells 29-15.
What are you doing?
I got a great deal on this paint.
You're putting this cheap stuff on my house?
Uh-oh.
And don't you need primer?
I do?
Go to the Benjamin Moore dealer.
Stop by Benjamin Moore and let us shed some light on your next painting project and show you some of the best paint values available.
Don't paint in the dark. Go to your Benjamin Moore dealer.
Do you enjoy playing sports in your leisure time? If you do, you don't want to be laid up. So if a recreational sports injury has put you on the sideline, contact the professionals at the Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic, Route 1 in Wells. They possess state-of-the-art testing equipment to diagnose your injury and the proper form of treatment. Chiropractic heals the body without the use of drugs, medication, or surgery. Stay off the disabled list by visiting the folks at Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic, Route 1 in Wells, the first step on your road to recovery.
One of America's most respected actors.
You got me all misty-eyed.
In an Academy Award-winning performance.
No, I'm just getting warmed up.
Al Pacino.
Wait a minute. What can you say?
Set of a Woman. Premiering Tuesday, February 1st at 8 Eastern and Pacific. Exclusively on Stars. Don't miss the opening night exclusive premiere of Set of a Woman. Tuesday, February 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Only on Stars.
Eric Nelson with John Martins on TCI of Southern Maine Sports. You're watching Game of the Week coverage next Monday and Tuesday on Game of the Week at 7:30. You will see SMAA boys action as the Biddeford boys host the Massabesic boys. That's next Monday and Tuesday at 7:30. York starts the second half with the basketball. They are in the blue. Wells is in the white. And for the Wildcats, it's Chapman, Playstead. She misses the jump shot. York ball, it would be Playstead, Chapman, Little, McDonald, and Brown. And for Wells, they're starting 5. Nickerson, Stevens, Clark, Bolduc, and Cunningham. And they dump to Brown. And she puts in the second chance.
Wells just really doesn't have anybody who can stop her right now. They tried to front her then, that didn't work. And York is doing a real good job of exploiting that weakness. Good pressure here by York.
Heidi Stevens off the front of the rim. McDonald the rebound. Andrea Little for 2. 11 for Little. .18 York lead.
York again staying with the 1-3-1 zone to take away the wing shooting of the Warriors.
Shot missed from outside, and rebound to Joanna Brown.
Christy Clark has taken 5 shots so far in this game. She's 0 for 5, yet to score.
Little, 2 more for Andrea Little.
I've had some coaches who will remain nameless in other parts of the state say that when they look at York films preparing for them in the tournament, say that, you know, she doesn't look great as a shooter. Her technique is not great, but you see the results. They hit nothing but net, so it doesn't matter what they look like going up as long as they go in.
Foul against York off of Clark's shot. And I believe is against McDonald. Her first. Wells 1 for 5 from the line. And Clark gets in the scoring column with her first point. Breaks a little 6-0 second half start for York.
Wells going with a little bit of pressure here.
Trying to mix it up a little bit. Brown spins inside for 2 more. Boy, Joanna Brown having a great game. She's got 14.
She must like to see TCI's truck back in because she always plays well when we're here.
Yeah, had 19 against Marshwood in our broadcast earlier this year.
I believe she was our player of the game that night.
Clark, no foul called.
Nice block by
Back the
Brown.
other way. Chapman. And Nickerson with a good defense. Little says thank you very much off the pass from McDonald. 15 for Andrea Little. Cunningham. Loose ball to McDonald. 39-16, a 23-point York lead.
You can see the difference between a veteran team and a team that's still struggling to find what its identity is. York has played since the beginning of this game, although not playing their best basketball. It's played with a ton of composure, where Wells, after falling behind a little bit, I think started playing a little frazzled and hasn't quite put it together.
Liza Brown. And also number 30, Melissa Gagnon, into the game for York. Doing good traveling. Gagnon, number 30, is a 5'7 junior, and Katie D'Entremont back in for York.
So 10 players in the book already for York.
And they stick with the zone defense. This is a younger crew, just one senior out there now for York. That's Little.
And it's no surprise that she's a senior that they keep out there. She's really the stabilizing force for this team. She puts the ball in bounds on almost every pass, and she does all the things well.
Chapman up ahead to Gagnon. Nice look down to D'Entremont for 2.
Way to
Katie
use
D'Entremont.
that glass. I like to see that. Use that glass inside.
She enters the scoring column. Clark for 3. Online, just short. Here's Chapman. York is going to run. Chapman back outside. Chapman for 3. Yes, all net. Tiffany Chapman, her first basket.
she's going to need to hit that shot in the tournament because teams are going to pack it in. So she's going to have to loosen it up a little bit with those threes.
8 players have scored for York in this game. Here's another steal. Chapman draws the foul. You may see Dan McLeod call a timeout here pretty soon. 44-16 in favor of York, with Chapman going to the line and Orchard coming into the game. Andrea Little will sit down. She sits down with 15 points.
Chapman, I believe, just a sophomore for York, and definitely the point guard of the future of this team. She gained some experience last year and has certainly taken her game to the next level this year.
Heather Mailing, number 21, into the ball game for Wells. Chapman makes both. A 30-point York lead here, 46-16. Clark. Stevens, the offensive rebound in traffic. Bounces to Cunningham, blocked by Orchard, and up ahead, Brown to Chapman, who's been releasing. Oh, great pass to Orchard. Oh, she traveled, but what a pretty play.
Beautiful play. That's how you break it. Great pass by Tiffany Chapman. I think they should count that one on principle.
They should. That was a great pass.
Jana Cunningham learning the importance of a ball fake down low there. She just got it swatted back in her face.
And Wells' really lack of height and inability to deal with the size of York has been the story of this game. They've been heavily out-rebounded here. Cunningham, back to Clark, across to Stevens, and she draws the foul, so some good movement for Wells.
You can hear Coach Dan McLeod clapping his team on and telling them that's a good job, and those are the things you like to see. They're still running the offense, still trying to make something happen, and you know, against the York team, after winning 2, you know, taking the next step up against probably the best team, certainly one of the best teams in Class B West, certainly one of the best in the state. Just a tall order for them at this point. I think their challenge is to go from this point here in this game, take it to the next level against a middle-of-the-road team, see what they can do from there.
Stevens makes both free throws. 4 points for Heidi Stevens. 2:45 left in the third, 46-18 York. And Clark almost had it. Coming up on the schedule next, York plays host to Trape on Thursday evening, and then at Marshwood next Tuesday, February 1st. So that's what they've got coming up on the schedule. Nice save by D'Entremont. Gagnon misses. Orchard, she got blocked. Brown follows, and I don't think they'll count the basket.
I'll say that Christy Clark, I believe, made contact on the floor.
Who was that foul against, John? That was against Mailing, I guess, technically, is the call. The first foul of the half for Wells. They are at Freeport on Friday, then host Kennebunk next Tuesday, and we will be here next Tuesday to cover that game on Channel 12. Clark with a nice move. Frustrating night for Christy Clark.
Yeah, the thing probably is she knows how much she wants this game. This is the last time she'll play against her dad, and I'm sure that this was a big game personally for Christy Clark, and she's having a tough night. Too bad for her, because she's had a nice little career here at Wells. She has not been on great high school basketball teams, but she's certainly been a spark for them during the course of her career.
Stephanie Freeman, a junior for Wells, number 13, seeing her first action. Chapman misses the 3, Clark the rebound. .140 remaining, third quarter. Clark back to Stevens from just beyond the foul line. Orchard the rebound. Mailing steals it. She puts it up, doesn't get the bounce. He'll stay with Wells. Placed it back in for the Wildcats. Tiffany Chapman will sit down. Good game for her, 5 points. Still 46-18 in favor of York. And traveling.
I'll tell you, Wells should come out and pretend to play a quarter before the game starts. The third quarter all year long has been a real rough quarter for them. No field goals in this quarter, only 3 foul shots. They just shouldn't go to the locker room at halftime.
Cunningham, the steal. Missed the second chance. Wells will keep it. In for York is 5'9" junior Cindy Herbine, number 22. So Rick Clark, according to my scorecard, has used everyone, John, tonight.
Coaches love to be able to do that and loves to get them in at this point in the game with a lot left. They'll get some quality time.
And there's a three-pointer from Christy Clark.
Good to see her hit that.
Mailing knocks it away and steals it. Up ahead to Clark. Less than a minute remaining in the quarter. Christy Clark, no. In and out.
I think you could say tonight that if Christy Clark didn't have bad luck, she wouldn't have any.
Orchard from the baseline, no. D'Entremont, and it comes out to Freeman. Freeman, nice save by Stevens. Cunningham from the elbow, and boy, that's the type of night Wells has had. That ball bounced in and around a couple of times.
But again, great ball movement from Wells. Freeman hits her man. She kicks it back. Stevens kicks it back to Cunningham. She gets a nice open jumper. It's perfect.
Foul on Herbine. Third team foul unofficially. There's just one team foul, I believe, against Wells. As Samantha Williams in, and we see for the first time Chelsea Harnum, number 20.
There's another coach down in York that always speaks about focusing on the process rather than the result. And I think that the Wells players here are trying their best to focus on the process. Even though it's late in the game, they really have no chance of winning at this point. They've got to focus on what they have to do and to do it well.
Heather Mailing makes the first of 2, and she sinks the second. 2 points for Mailing here in the second half of play. 46-23 is our score, 19 seconds left in the quarter. And Wells with a chance to score another hoop here.
Good job by Wells to pressure the younger York players, the less experienced ones, but that's the thing to do.
10 seconds left. Freeman, yes, gets it to fall with 1 second remaining in the quarter. So Wells with a little spurt toward the end. It's a couple of field goals. Slices into the lead a little bit, but it's still a commanding York lead on the Starkey Ford scoreboard after 3. Wildcats lead it 46-25.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
For more than 135 years, Ocean National Bank has been an independent community bank, committed to preserving the quality of life in York County. That's why money deposited in Ocean National is invested with local York County families and businesses. If you want to invest in your community, bank with Ocean National.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
Shoulder the burden of both sides of the ball and still play well.
We kind of get a sense that way from what teams are doing. It's just incredible what Biddeford has done, and I expect them to continue.
In where they play on the schedule, I think they could give teams a battle.
Sportlight, every Wednesday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on TCI of Southern Maine, Channel 12.
Tonight's game of the week is being brought to you by the York House of Pizza, Route 1A, across from the Village Fire Station. They've been serving the town of York for over 14 years. Come try their great pizza and delicious subs. And also by the Dairy Queen Brazier, 447 Elm Street in Biddeford, featuring the full meal deal. A sandwich, fry, drink, and sundae, all at one low price. And also by Indian of Maine Truck Caps. For the best prices and selection on Indian of Maine Truck Caps, go to the manufacturer. Visit the factory outlet, Route 1, south of Biddeford. And also by Jonathan's Restaurant. Jonathan's Restaurant is a new spot for your banquets, weddings, and receptions in Ogunquit.
You're watching TCI of Southern Maine Sports Game of the Week. Eric Nelson and John Martins. To start the fourth quarter here, Wells with the basketball. They trail by 21, 46-25.
Wells will stick with its younger players, and it's good to see that both benches, in essence, are getting some playing time here. The only starters in, Chapman in for York, Stevens in for Wells.
Harnum missing from the baseline, and a jump ball situation will go to York.
I think one of the reasons why Tiffany Chapman stays in for York is it's a pressure set here for Wells, and the more pressure your starting point guard sees, the better you handle it, so I could see why she would be in at this point.
So York committing the turnover. Williams try to get it to Harnum. Can Orchard save it? She does. Nice play. Another jump ball, and it'll go to Wells.
I tell you, that's great hustle by Sharon Orchard, you know, with a big lead. It's very easy to quit, but she's making the most of her minutes. And coaches don't take that for granted. Believe me, they see that, and they appreciate that.
Jenny Hilton back into the game, number 30. Dan McLeod has used all 10 of his players available to him this evening. Harnum for 3, rebound by Orchard. So both coaches using the bench. Orchard not there, D'Entremont. Herbine with a save. And it'll stay with York.
Again, York player for player hustling, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. D'Entremont, a nice seal for her offensive rebound, didn't get the call when she got hit. Officials are letting a lot of that incidental, what they call incidental contact, go this year. Really have been letting the girls play, and the boys too.
Freeman. Mailing draws the foul.
That's a real nice job by Stephanie Freeman. She was in a position to be trapped. Looked to make the backpacks to Stevens. She wasn't there. And Mailing got open, and she found her. Nice job by Wells.
Don't forget, every Wednesday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m., right before our Game of the Week coverage, it's the most talked about show in Southern Maine, Sportlight, where John and I and a reporter from the Journal Tribune talk about sports with the local teams. It's every Wednesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock. Carbine out. And Gagnon in. His Mailing shoots her second free throw and misses them both.
I believe this will be the farewell edition to Mike Bork of Sportlight, so you might want to not miss that commemorative edition.
Chapman for 3. She says, I don't want to miss it, John. Oh, and then Chapman knocked down by Hilton, some incidental contact.
Sort of like a train running over the railroad track, incidental contact. Nothing intentional there, obviously, by Hilton. They just got tangled up, and Chapman hit the floor.
Harnum off the mark for 3. Stevens, the left hand.
Nice job by Stevens to go to the left hand and get the rebound.
49-27 is our score. 22-point York lead. 6 minutes left in the game. Orchard Mailing the strong rebound. And Wells will keep the ball.
This game is getting a little bit sloppy, and I know officials like to let the clock run when the game is out of hand, but I don't want to see anybody get hurt here, so I hope they'd call it a little bit closer.
Harnum can't find the range. Orchard with the rebound for York. through Gagnon's hands right to Chapman.
Chapman's play has impressed me tonight, Eric. Since we've seen her last, she's definitely improved a bit in her confidence and is running the offense very well. She's handled pressure well, and she's distributed the ball nicely, stuck a couple threes.
Brown in for Orchard, who has played well off the bench. Well, Chapman's one of the leaders of this team for the future, John. Just a sophomore. She'll run the club the next couple of years.
And I know York loses a lot with the seniors they lose, but there's some nice young talent here for them.
Chapman for the layup. Wow. And it all started initially where she moved to the basketball. When you receive the pass, you can't wait for it, John. You've got to move to the basketball. She did that and just created that layup herself. Harnum keeps it alive for Wells. 10, by the way, for Tiffany Chapman in this game. A couple of threes. Hilton. Missing the shot. Mailing, yes. Count the basket. And a chance for a three-point play for Heather Mailing.
A nice job by Heather to get the rebound and come right back up with it. These younger players for Wells played relatively well here in the fourth quarter. Not a lot of points to show for it, but they have not performed poorly.
Foul was on Katie D'Entremont. Mailing misses the free throw. So it's 51-29 in favor of York. 4:41 left in the game. Foul on Chelsea Harnum of Wells. That is the third team foul against Wells. There are 5 team fouls against York, so neither team in the bonus. Oh, Hilton. Oh, nice hustle by Jenny Hilton.
I don't know if that ball was deflected on the pass or whether that would have been Wells' ball under York's basket, but if you have any doubts, you have to try to play it.
Certainly, certainly. Chapman. Up in front of the rim, Mailing, big rebound for Wells.
I'd take it, why not?
York.
I would have.
Harnum. Mailing, offensive rebound, yes. Heather Mailing. 6 off the bench for Mailing here in the second half.
She's done a nice job, and what she's done is she's gotten her feet on the side, planted herself, and gotten in good position to get the baskets. D'Entremont
misses, Mailing another rebound. And there's a turnover right back to York. Gagnon. Eliza Brown, no. Tips it around, controlled by Harnum. No, loose ball, and like you said, John, just play a little sloppy. There's a foul with 3:34 left in the basketball game and a 20-point York lead.
This type of play is expected. Chapman will go out now for York, as will Eliza Brown. This type of play is expected when you get some of the reserves in there, and the game is pretty much decided. As I said, the thing is, what referees have to be careful to not let it get out of hand and have somebody get hurt. Very fine line between letting the girls play and letting it get too aggressive.
Lob in D'Entremont.
Great pass by Sharon Orchard to Katie D'Entremont, and she sealed her man well. All of York's post players have done a nice job tonight at sealing their men and getting ready to receive the ball.
Hilton misses the turnaround. Really, Orchard and D'Entremont are the big girls of next year, a couple of juniors.
And this type of experience, even though
D'Entremont's a sophomore, John, I apologize.
That's all right. Even, you know, with these girls playing in a game like this, even though it's, you know, relatively decided, the playing experience has to help them.
Harnum off the mark. Gone under the 3-minute mark, and a foul committed by Wells. Don't forget, our Sports Talk Player of the Game is coming up immediately after the broadcast. That'll be an interesting choice, John, with so many people contributing in a game like this. Often a difficult decision. Freeman knocks it away. Herbine, and that's intercepted. Mailing can't convert the layup. Jump ball to Wells.
Geez, Heather Mailing has really had a great game tonight. If she could have converted that layup and a couple of free throws, she'd have double digits, I think, for the first time in her career, and that would be a great game for her.
Lob in, Harnum had it, and, well, saves a lot of contact here, needless to say.
Usually that's a call or a travel or a call violation, but...
Oh, nice block by Orchard.
The officials must have skipped their dinner tonight and getting a little bit hungry.
Stevens to Freeman. Launches a three off the side of the rim. And York basketball. 2:17 left. 53-31 in favor of York. Mailing another steal, John. And hits the basket. The second half by Heather Mailing.
Hey, she gets a half a vote for me for player of the game. I'm sorry. She's had a nice little quarter here. You know, one of the older players, I believe, on this Wells squad. She's been through some hard times here.
DeAntremont, oh, Mailing with 8 points, and I'm going to guess 5, maybe 6 rebounds in this game. And we do not know if Andrea Little officially broke the rebound record at York. If she didn't, she came awfully close. Hilton missing. And DeAntremont too far for Playstead, and another steal by Heather Mailing.
She's got a couple steals, too.
At least 3 that I can recall off the top of my head. Gagnon keeps it alive for York. 1:24 left in the game. Orchard has nice look to DeAntremont, and she missed the layup as she got fouled.
Orchard a little casual with that pass, but she knew she had Kitty DeAntremont ahead. That was an NBA game. We would have probably seen a reverse slam of some sort.
I was going to call it, John, but I held back. DeAntremont with 7. Very balanced scoring for York this evening. She scored 8 all in the second half. 57-33, 1:15 left in the ball game. Heidi Stevens off the back of the rim. Rebound to Orchard. Break it up to Playstead. And she's fouled by Heidi Stevens. With exactly 1 minute remaining, stick around. Our player of the game coming up in just a few moments.
You know, the officials must have heard that comment about dinner because they've called everything since I've said it. So I guess they're trying to take a better rein on it and make sure that nobody gets injured here.
Lindsay Playstead, a couple of free throws. She's got 4 in the game. 59-33 favor the Wildcats.
All but 2 of the Wildcats have scored by my count, so it's been a very balanced night for them.
So that would mean 9 of the 11. Harnum missing. Mailing an offensive rebound, and she gets fouled by Herbine. I have Herbine, Gagnon, and Orchard all not scoring.
You do?
Yeah.
You're right, so
that would be 8 of the 11. Then that's close.
Because I hadn't written Herbine in my book yet, and that's why. My fault.
I forgive you. Freeman. That was a possession foul because they aren't in the bonus yet. They will be on the next foul, which I think is now. Yes. Second foul on Orchard puts Wells into the bonus with 36 seconds remaining in the basketball game. As we mentioned, our next game of the week broadcast next Monday and Tuesday. Massabesic at Biddeford boys. And to find out what's happening in high school sports, it's Sport Life, Wednesday and Thursday evening at 7 o'clock on Channel 12. Heidi Stevens missing the front end of the first 1-and-1 free throw of the game, John. I don't think I've ever broadcast a high school game where we did not have 1-and-1. And came within 36 seconds of doing it.
Well, we almost witnessed history. I thought we were hanging around for something, but I guess not. Nice break there by York.
DeAntremont to Gagnon, and she will have an opportunity to get into the scoring column. That foul on Freeman and Melissa Gagnon to shoot a pair of free throws.
Melissa, one of the newer parts to this team, a transfer from Amesbury, Mass. High School. Interestingly enough, Amesbury's uniforms are the spitting image of Wells's uniforms.
DeAntremont for the basket.
If anybody cares.
15 seconds left. I will add no comment to that, John. Freeman missing from outside. DeAntremont the rebound. Up ahead to Orchard. Will she get on the scoreboard? No. Sharon Orchard not able to convert. And that, my friend, is the basketball game. York with an impressive 61-33 victory over the Wells Warriors. So York moves to 13-0, and Wells drops to 5-8. And we'll be bringing you the scoring summary as soon as I can calculate it in my book, John. York was led by Andrea Little with 15. Joanna Brown had 14. 2, 4, 6, 8. Katie DeAntremont and Tiffany Chapman had 10. Eliza Brown and Lindsay Plaisted with 4. Jessica Martell and Molly McDonald with 2, if I've calculated that correctly, John.
Looks good to me.
Okay. 8 points for Heather Mailing off the bench, leads Wells in scoring tonight. Followed by Jana Cunningham with 7, Heidi Stevens with 6, Samantha Williams and Christy Clark with 4, Stephanie Freeman and Becky Nickerson all with 2. So a 28-point win for York. What else can you say, John? They continue to roll, and they are a very good basketball team, and you got to feel that they're going to be one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to take it all in Western B.
Yeah, there's one other team in Western B. Certainly, there's one other team in the state right now unbeaten, Erskine Academy. And there's some good teams out there, Kennebunk, Cape Elizabeth, but York certainly not a notch below any of those teams.
Okay, we'll be back with our Sports Star Player of the Game in just a moment as we take a final look at the Starkey Ford scoreboard this evening. York defeats Wells by the score of 61-33.
If you picture yourself as a sports-minded individual, there's only one place you need to go. The Sports Stop, Lower Main Street in Sanford, for the sports-minded individual. Get the picture?
You're invited to a special screening of an incredible movie event. The biggest stars, the hottest movies. Be our guest for a one-time only preview of Stars, the premium cable channel featuring exclusive first-run movies. And Encore, popular hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And from February 1st through the 16th, it's all absolutely free. Don't miss this free preview. On Stars and Encore, it's always the hottest movies, the biggest stars, at the best price.
Welcome back to the postgame show here at Wells High School. York remains undefeated with a 61-33 win over Wells. Joining John Martins and I for the postgame show is Rick Clark, the head coach of the Wildcats, and our Sports Stop Player of the Game tonight, Tiffany Chapman, the sophomore, who had 10 points for York tonight in their victory, a couple of three-pointers, and we touted your three-point shooting ability during the game, Tiffany. We've noticed that you've been able to do that very successfully over the past couple of years. Is that something that you work on a lot in practice and during the off-season, shooting the three-pointer?
Yeah, I've been working on it a lot over the summer.
What does Coach tell you during the course of the game? Is it something that if it presents itself in the offense, you take it, or do you pretty much have a green light? When you're open, you can shoot it?
Yeah, as long as there's somebody underneath.
Yeah. Coming into this game tonight, Tiffany, Wells is obviously a team that has improved since the first time you played them. Did you think that they would end up giving you a better game than you got tonight?
I think they did a pretty good job. I think we had to be careful because like going into the wins, we
Is it tougher? Coach talked to me about this before the game. I mean, now you're 13-0. If someone beats you, that's a lot of heel points for a team. Do you find that teams really play intense against you and play really hard because you're York?
Yeah, because they want to beat us now. because it's the end of the season, nearing the end of the season.
Have you, in your mind, Tiffany, have you played as well as you think you can? You think the team has played as well as they can?
I think we played together good as a whole, but I think I could do better.
The difference between last year and this year, Tiffany, you got some minutes as a freshman last year. Did that help as you played a lot more this year as a sophomore?
Yeah, I learned a lot last year. It's helped a lot.
Yeah, well, it's obviously showed, Tiffany. Congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way. You win the plaque from Sports Stop, and once again, congratulations. Okay, Tiffany Chapman, our player of the game, handled that very well. Nice round of applause from the team who was waiting in the wings, but she was a person who stayed on the court for you most of the game, Rick, and came up with a couple of big three-point baskets late in the ball game, but when Wells put on the pressure a little bit, she was obviously the one who had to handle the ball for you.
Yeah, I think probably if we have a weakness this year, it's depth at guard position, especially one guard. Jess Martell banged ahead, and we kept her out as a precaution, and that leaves just basically Tiffany's the only one guard that we have. Lindsay played it reluctantly for 4 or 5 minutes, but Tiffany has to be in the air to keep things moving at that particular point.
John?
I know that Wells looked at this game, Coach. Their key to the game was to try to keep you off the block. You guys did everything that you could to get it in there, and once you got it in there, you had second, third, fourth chances. Pretty much a physical mismatch in there.
I think if you look at the size differential between Wells and York, it's very obvious that's what we have to do. And the strength of our big girls, Joanna Brown, Katie Dionfont, Sharon Orchard, Liza Brown, they're all physical girls, and if they can get it inside, they're going to go up with it.
One thing I was impressed with tonight, Coach, is the fact that you've got Wells and Trape this week, kind of what people might think kind of an easy week after the big game with Cape, a big emotional win. Kids didn't let up at all, and they really came to play.
Well, I think we learned a big lesson last year. They all realized that we kind of let down at the end of the season, and we're a little flat going into the tournament, and they don't want that to happen again. So they're really concentrating on every game, one at a time. Play as hard as you can. If it works out that you have a big win, everyone plays, you go home happy.
All right, Art.
A couple of other people who have contributed all season long and really for the past 3 years, Rick, and that's Joanna Brown and Andrea Little. A big night for Andrea last Friday when she went past the 1,000-point mark. Joanna had a big game that night, I guess 23 points, 16 rebounds, led you tonight again with 15 points. Those two girls obviously have done so much for this program over the years.
Well, it's nice to be able to have 3 years with the two of them together, and you're right. Between them, they have 1,800 points and 15 or 1,600 rebounds. And when one's down, the other one picks up, and what can you say? With people like that, you got to use them, and they do a great job.
Well, congratulations, Rick, and we'll see you before we get to the playoffs. We'll certainly see a lot of you in Augusta, too. Okay, the final score once again here is York wins by the score of 61-33. They are 13-0, and Wells drops to 5-8. So for John Martins, I'm Eric Nelson. Have a nice night.